Hi, this is your host. In 2013, a research team led by anthropologist David Carrier at the University of Utah published a paper in the journal PNAS that proposed an explanation for why humans are so afraid of snakes and spiders. They suggest that it's not because they're dangerous or venomous, but because our ancestors used to live in environments where these animals were abundant. But if that's true, shouldn't we also be terrified of insects? After all, they pose a greater threat to human health than any other animal. We do tend to be wary of insects, but our fear of them isn't even close to the same level as our fear of snakes and spiders. So if you're scared of snakes, it might not be because there are lots of them crawling around where you live. If you want to learn more about what might be behind your phobia, keep watching. We'll explore two possible reasons why ancient humans might have feared snakes more than lions. First, let's take a closer look at the study published in 2013. The authors hypothesized that certain fears are triggered not by danger itself, but by the unpredictability of danger. If you know exactly how dangerous something is, like how a lion is likely to attack if you get too close, you can adjust your behavior to avoid that danger. But animals like snakes and spiders are harder to predict. They can strike fast, and they often hide in places that are hard to see. Their venom can also be hard to detect with your senses, which means you might not realize you're in danger until it's too late. This lack of predictability makes them more threatening, and according to Carrier, humans are more likely to develop a phobia of an animal if they can't predict whether or not it will harm them. This idea explains why we're more afraid of snakes and spiders than other animals, including insects. But it doesn't explain why we're afraid of these two animals more than any others. To figure that out, Carrier's team took a different approach. They wanted to find out how the brain processes fearful thoughts about snakes and spiders compared to other animals. To do this, they scanned the brains of 10 men while they looked at pictures of various animals, including snakes, spiders, lions, monkeys, and fish. As the men looked at pictures of dangerous animals, their amygdalae, the parts of their brain that process emotions, lit up. But when they were shown a picture of a snake or a spider, another part of their brain, the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for decision-making, also became active. This suggests that our brains have evolved to respond to threats from snakes and spiders in a different way than other threats. When we see a snake or a spider, our brain doesn't just register the threat. It also tries to figure out how to deal with it. Maybe this response is a result of natural selection. Perhaps our ancestors had to think quickly about how to deal with deadly predators in order to survive. This could have led to the development of a general fear response to dangerous animals. But over time, this response might have become more pronounced when it came to snakes and spiders, specifically due to the unpredictability of their danger. Still, this doesn't explain why we'd be afraid of snakes more than lions, unless you consider that most snakes are less predictable than lions. You can usually tell when a lion wants to attack you. But snakes, well, not so much. This is one explanation for why we're more afraid of snakes than lions. But it might also have to do with our environment. After all, we've been hunting big cats like lions for thousands of years. So we may have learned to overcome our fear of them to some extent. On the other hand, our ancestors hunted large herbivores like mammoths and mastodons, not snakes. So there would have been no reason for them to get comfortable around snakes. In fact, early humans may have encountered venomous snakes in the same habitats where they found wild dogs and other predators. Snakes could have been just one more thing to be wary of, and eventually we evolved to fear them more than most other animals. So the next time someone tells you that they're more afraid of snakes than lions, you'll know what to blame. It's not your fault. You can thank your ancestors who passed down their fears to you. Speaking of things you can't control, have you ever wished you could stop time when you were having fun and just stay in the moment forever? Well, you can't, unfortunately. But you can make the moment last longer with the right music.